RHOBH's Kyle Richards reveals reason she's not divorced yet. It's been quite some time since Bravo stars Kyle Richards and Mauricio Umansky confirmed the end of their marriage. However, the pair are still legally married, even if they aren't living that way. As rumors fly around Mauricio's dating life, Kyle admits they're still avoiding conversations about filing for divorce. Read on to see what she had to say. Kyle Richards isn't ready to fully let go of her marriage. In a recent episode of Watch What Happens Live, Kyle Richards dug into her raw emotions to give an update on her looming divorce from Mauricio Umansky. It doesn't seem as if the pair have any hope of patching up their marriage. But at the end of the day, they have children together and want to continue having a positive relationship for the sake of the family. We're good friends and we get along really well. And I don't know, we just live separate lives and it just hasn't come up yet, Kyle shared. When the time comes, we will address it. The RHOBH star and her ex feel confident divorce is the right decision for them. However, officially ending a marriage spanning over 20 years isn't exactly easy. It's hard, and it's not something either one of us feel comfortable initiating. We just kind of let it go and just really good friends, and we care about each other, and we get along, so it's like, it is what it is right now, Kyle added. Sutton Strack encouraged her RHOB co-star to move on. As fans saw in RHOBH Season 14, Sutton Strack encouraged Kyle to finally take the plunge and file. At the end of the day, I have to do what feels right for me. And I do not feel ready to go do that, and I'll know when it's time to do that, the mother of four said of her decision not to take her co-star's advice. People don't know our relationship, and I trust him, Kyle added. And I know, for women who have been burned, they're coming from a place of, I don't want what happened to you to happen to me. While I appreciate it, my situations, I have to live for what I'm going through and not take on all of that too. Kyle Richards sat perched on the edge of her sprawling Beverly Hills terrace, a crystal glass of sparkling water in hand. The skyline glimmered with its usual magic, a mix of palm trees and skyscrapers that always seemed to tell two stories at once, one of glamour, the other of chaos. It was the perfect backdrop for the kind of conversation that demanded attention, and Kyle knew the audience would be listening. They always were. Rumors had been swirling for months. The tabloids couldn't resist dissecting every Instagram post, every cryptic caption, and every carefully curated photo of her and Mauricio. Speculation had reached a fever pitch after Kyle was seen at multiple events without her signature diamond wedding ring. Some called it a publicity stunt, others whispered about irreconcilable differences. But now, sitting under the warm California sun, Kyle was ready to address it all. People think they know everything, she began, her voice carrying the weight of someone who had been under public scrutiny for decades. They see a photo or hear a rumor and think they've pieced together the whole puzzle. But life isn't that simple, and neither is marriage. The decision to not officially divorce Mauricio wasn't one she made lightly. After 27 years of marriage, their relationship had evolved into something far more complex than the fairy tale love story that Bravo fans had fallen in love with. First of all, she said with a small laugh, I'm not saying everything's perfect. It's not. But perfection is a myth, especially in this town. What Mauricio and I have is history, family, and a kind of love that doesn't fit neatly into a box. Kyle explained that their bond had shifted over the years. When they first met, it was all about passion and building a life together. They'd navigated the birth of their children, the highs and lows of careers, and the dizzying spotlight of reality television. But as the years went on, they both changed. When you're with someone for that long, you either grow together or you grow apart. And I think for us it was a little of both, she admitted. We grew apart in some ways, but in others, we've built something so solid that it's hard to just walk away. Mauricio's burgeoning real estate empire had added another layer of complexity to their dynamic. While Kyle's career on The Real Housewives of Beverly Hills kept her busy and in the public eye, Mauricio's role as a mogul at the agency often took him around the globe. They were frequently in different time zones, living different lives. It wasn't easy, but it also wasn't the reason for their current state. It's funny, because people think it's all about betrayal or some dramatic blow-up, Kyle said, her eyes reflecting a hint of sadness. But honestly, it's the little things that add up. The missed conversations, the assumptions, the feeling of being on two different pages. And sometimes it's just about finding yourself again. Over the past year, Kyle had embarked on a journey of self-discovery. She'd started working with a life coach, taken up meditation, and even dabbled in writing. These moments of introspection made her realize how much of herself she had poured into her marriage, her family, and her career, often at the expense of her own identity. "I've always been a fixer," she said. "If something's broken, I want to fix it. If someone's upset, I want to make them happy. But somewhere along the way, I forgot to check in with myself. I forgot to ask, what does Kyle want?" Her answer surprised even her. What Kyle wanted wasn't an escape or a clean slate. She didn't want to sever the ties that bound her to Mauricio, nor did she want to cling to a version of their marriage that no longer existed. What she wanted was clarity and space to figure out what the next chapter of her life should look like. "That's why we're not divorcing," she revealed. "At least not now. It's not about avoiding the headlines or pretending everything's fine. It's about giving ourselves the time to really understand what's best for us, for our kids, and for the life we've built together." Kyle's daughters had been a significant factor in her decision. While they were all adults or nearing adulthood, the idea of disrupting their family dynamic weighed heavily on her. She and Mauricio had always been a united front when it came to their children, and she didn't want to jeopardize that. "Our kids are everything to us," she said, her voice breaking slightly. "They're the best thing we've ever done, and I want them to see that relationships can be complicated but still rooted in love and respect, even if that love changes over time." As she spoke, it became clear that Kyle's story wasn't one of heartbreak or scandal. It was a story of resilience, introspection, and the messy, beautiful reality of life. She wasn't interested in fitting into anyone's narrative but her own. "Marriage isn't a fairy tale," she concluded. "It's a journey, and sometimes you need to pause and reevaluate where you're headed. That's what we're doing. No grand declarations, no ultimatums, just two people trying to figure it out. For now, the tabloids would have to wait." Kyle wasn't giving them a divorce announcement or a juicy scandal. What she was offering was something far more rare in Hollywood: honesty. And as the sun dipped below the horizon, casting the terrace in a warm, golden glow, Kyle Richards looked every bit the woman who had weathered storms before, and who would undoubtedly do so again.